I just wanted to get on and show you that I wasn't joking when I said that it takes a long time for the video to render. For me, this has been going for about 4 hours now, and it's only at 34%. So, needless to say, this will have to render overnight, and I'll hopefully be able to upload it tomorrow, but we shall see. So, maybe poking my finger on the staple wasn't the best thing, but this is a beautiful skein that is very reminiscent of strawberries to me. This one is Hot Air Balloon. Yeah, I can kind of see that, but I still think of strawberries. That was my first thought about this skein when I pulled it out of the bag, but yeah, I did catch myself on the staple, but it's just a surface injury, so that's okay. It's not bleeding and not in pain. But yeah, very happy with that one too. So it is day 6, December 6th. Today was a recording day, as I mentioned to you yesterday. Normally on recording days, they're pretty much days where I can't do anything but work on the videos. So I recorded the introduction to my Vlogmas, and then I also recorded my November manga haul, and then after I was done with that, I uploaded them to the computer, edited the Vlogmas, and that took forever. Editing for me takes a while. I do pause a lot when I'm talking because I'm not actually talking to a person. I mean, you're watching this right now, but for me, I'm just basically recording it and talking to a camera all by myself in my room, so it's a little bit harder for me to have fluid sentences, I guess. So I do edit out quite a bit of long pauses, and sometimes I trip over my words, so I've got to edit that out, and then I always restate when I do that. Sometimes I leave them in, just for realness factors. But yeah, that vlog of the first 5 days took me, I don't know, about 5 hours to edit. Putting in all of the day cards and the music and speeding up certain sections and things like that. So it has been uploading now for about 5 hours. The little clip I had recorded earlier, which you would have seen just a little while ago, that was 4 hours ago, and that's the type of speeds I deal with. So basically on recording days, I can't really do anything until I finally start to render the video. And so by the time I did that, it was already very late. So I haven't really done anything but work on videos today. But I do have a few other things to share with you. Some acquisitions and a little bit of knitting. So let's get into that. Let me put my yarn away and I will be right back. So first off, this copy of After School Nightmare Volume 8 came in It is an ex-library copy. I got it from thrift books. Like I said, I don't normally go on to websites to buy used manga primarily unless I know it is a series that's out of print. This particular one is, but I actually had gone to thrift books to find a copy of the Mickey's Christmas Carol DVD. I thought I had that one, but apparently I don't. And after reading some reviews on the current edit of that movie, I decided to go with the Disney Classics Collection 7, I think, which has an unedited version. But of course, that's out of print and hard to find. But I was able to find a copy on thrift books. So while I was getting that, just to fill out my cart to get some free shipping, I happened to see that they had this volume available, and this is one that I need to complete my collection, so it was a no-brainer to add it into my cart. I now have volumes 1 through 8, and I'm missing 9 and 10, so I am still on the lookout for those. But yeah, this came in the mail today. My Mickey's Christmas Carol hasn't come in the mail yet, though, so hopefully you'll see that soon. I ordered that because my friend Lee over at Lee Mac, she is doing a Christmas watch-along of that movie next week? This week? I think it might be this week. And if it's this week, it's not going to be here in time, I don't think, but I wanted to do a watch-along with her for that movie. So, yeah, the other thing that came in the mail today were these earrings from comfyearrings.com. I found out about this company from Meg over at Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits. And she was talking about how these earrings are the best, that the posts are so comfortable that you can just wear them all the time. Now, before lockdown, I was the type of person that would always put on all of her jewelry before I left the house for work and then take it all off when I got home. But since I haven't been going to the office, I haven't been putting my jewelry on. So therefore, I haven't been wearing earrings. And it struck me about 3 months into lockdown that I hadn't worn earrings in a while. And I thought, oh shoot, I wonder if my piercings had closed up. Luckily, they hadn't, except my right side piercing was on its way to closing up. So I had ordered a set of earrings from comfyearrings.com to try them out. They were rose gold stars and they were very comfortable to sleep in. And because I'm working at home, it was hard for me to remember to, hey, put a pair of earrings on before you go sit at your desk, because it doesn't dawn on me to put some jewelry on if you're just wearing, casual clothing. I'm not dressing up to work at home. So I knew I had to have something that I could just leave in and wear and, pretty much forget about it without having my piercings close up. Because if they had closed up, I wasn't getting them re-pierced. That was a horrible, horrible memory for me. But anyway, these worked out great. The only thing is that the stars that I bought kept catching on my pillow when I was sleeping, so that wasn't so good. So I ended up buying the pair that I'm wearing right now, which are rose gold CZ studs. And I like those, but since it's December and the birthstone of the month is aquamarine, they had these confetti earrings, so I picked up these. So, let me see. These are the confetti earrings, and you can kind of see it's like little specks of confetti in there. And then what makes these special is that the post is flat. So the post is flat and rounded, so when it comes up to the back side of your earlobe, it doesn't stab you like normal posts would. So yeah, I really really enjoy these earrings. These are my third and fourth pairs, and so they had this style, and then they also had this style, which is the blue and black confetti, I believe. I'm not sure if you can, how well that's coming across. Yeah. So I'm very happy with those. Apparently this is a really popular style for them, the confetti ones, and so I'm excited to have these. I did buy a pair of rose gold studs for my nieces and my sister-in-law, so all three of them are getting the same earrings for Christmas. So that's all in regards to acquisitions. I'll talk about 25 days of manga now. So I did finish Haikyuu Volume 33 last night. As I expected, the game that I was anticipating is in the last half of this volume, and what I read is very exciting. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of that game. However, I am forcing myself to stop reading this series for right now. I have focused on Haikyuu for the last few months, and there are other things that I'd like to read at the moment. But I'm very happy with my reading of this series, and this is an exception for sure, because even though a lot of people are talking about it and enjoying it, I have a special kind of connection to the series because I used to play rec center volleyball when I was in intermediate school, and my brother played high school volleyball. So there's something about this series that I feel connected to, and I have been successfully able to kind of shut out most of the spoilery stuff that's been going on. I have seen a few images that were unavoidable, but however unfortunate that is, I am still looking forward to seeing how the rest of this series turns out. I believe there's only 45 volumes. We just received volume 41, so there's only 4 volumes left. I do believe I know how this series is going to end up as far as these boys, but that will remain to be seen. I really enjoyed this. So then, I did move on to the Elder Sister-like one, volume 1. This one was very short, and it pretty much is just an introduction to our characters. So basically, this character here, she is a demon. There is another character in the series who is our main character, and he, I believe, is a high school student, but he was orphaned when he was younger. Both of his parents died in a car accident, and he's kind of been bounced around from family member to family member. All of them don't want to care for him. They basically say he's a freeloader, and they don't want to have to deal with him, and all of that stuff, and it's really bad. So anyway, he ends up with an uncle, I think. But the uncle gets sick and he has nowhere else to go, so he's basically staying in the uncle's house alone. But his uncle has always said, you know, don't go out into the shed. The shed is off limits. But our main character can't find his uncle's health insurance card. So he's like, well, if it's not in the house, the only other place it could be is in the shed. So he goes into the shed and meets this demon, the one that's on the front cover. The demon basically tells him, I will give you what you wish for in exchange for the thing that you treasure the most. And so he wishes for her to become his elder sister. What he wishes for is to feel like he has a family, which is really sad, but she makes that deal with him. Now at this point we don't know what it is that she will be taking in return. I would think that the thing that he treasures most is family, because it's something that he doesn't have, but I don't know. This volume was really short, like I said. It is very thin. There were some mature scenes, well, not really mature scenes, but there's some nudity in there. It's kind of fan servicey. I didn't really see any point to it, but that's pretty much it. Other than that, like I said, I found the story to be sad because this boy really doesn't feel loved and nobody wants to take care of him. So yeah, I am going to move on to volume 2, which is here. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of how this story goes. I do have one more volume of this series in my possession. So I will decide whether or not I will be collecting whatever else is out right now after I read that 3rd volume. I believe Goodreads is only showing that 5 volumes are out right now. I'm not sure if that completes the series or if there are more at this point, but I will make a decision after I read the 3rd volume about the future of my collecting this title at that time. So that's all as far as my 25 days of manga goes. And then the last thing I want to share with you is my knitting, so I will be right back once I get that out. So the only thing I really was able to work on today was my Mystery Advent knit along for the Bakery Bears Advent knit along. This is how much I have so far. This is 3 repeats of the pattern stitch. I need to do 6 repeats, so I'm halfway through. But of course, today another clue was released, so I am already behind, which I figured I would be. But I'm hoping to catch up today, at least a little bit. I'd like to start the first clue, or the second clue, today, so hopefully we'll see that happen. But I do have one more video to edit and upload. So yeah, that was basically my day today. Recording, editing, uploading, and then a little bit of knitting and some watching some Vlogmas. So that's all I've got to share with you today. I hope you all had a great one, and I will check in with you tomorrow. Bye. So it's been over 13 hours, and this is where we're at on the first Vlogmas video. So I guess my plans have been delayed for the rest of the day, so I need to wait for this to complete so that I can upload it and then work on my November manga haul. Hi everyone, it is December 7th, so I am checking in a little earlier than I usually do, but it is still 1:30 in the morning. What I didn't tell you was that I have been on vacation for the last 2 weeks, so I go back to work today. I am anticipating a very stressful and busy day, just with the way that things usually are when I get back from vacation. There's going to be a lot of catching up to do. So from today to this week, it's probably going to be a little bit less as far as footage goes, just because I will be working and not able to get to as many things as I have been. So I want to start off with the 25 days of manga. So last night, or yesterday morning, I did read The Elder Sister Like One Volume 2 by Ida Pochi. I'm on the fence about this title. There doesn't seem to be a lot happening, and like I've mentioned, these volumes are very thin, so that doesn't help things. Nothing's really happened. I mean, if I gave you an entire summary of maybe 5 minutes or less of what's happened so far, it would be everything that happened in these 2 volumes. So, yeah. I am really on the fence about this. That being said, I will be reading volume 3 for my title this morning, and I will definitely be making a decision on whether or not to continue with this title after I finish this volume. I do question why this demon was in the uncle's shed. I had mentioned in yesterday's clip that this demon was in the uncle's shed, and I'm not sure why. I feel like the uncle might have made a deal with her or something like that. But I'm hoping to get some kind of progress in this volume. I'm really hoping that after I finish, I won't be on the fence about it. But it's very hard to justify the price of these volumes. These volumes are $13. And when compared to something like this, which is from the same publisher and has more substance, has more substance for the same price, it's a little discouraging, I guess. Yeah, when I weigh how much this costs versus how much this costs, I don't know that I want to keep investing in this title at this point. While I am still interested in what is going on, it's hard to justify the price. But anyway, the art style is very, very nice. That's one of the things that I am really enjoying about this particular title. But yeah, I will continue with volume 3 this morning, and then my next title will probably be The Great Priest Imhotep, volume 1. This is a title that I just received the 3rd volume of, so I think that's a good sampler of a series for me to decide whether or not to invest or not, like I am doing with this series over here. But yeah, that is going to be what I will be reading for 25 days of manga. I have been on track with that, so I'm very happy with my progress so far. Now let's go to my yarn advent calendar. Yesterday I did stab myself with the staple that was holding the bag closed, so I will try not to do that today, but let's open the box and see what the theme is for the skein. So we are on day 7, and that is Sparkle Works. Not one that I am familiar with, so this is bag number 7. I will attempt to be safe and not stab my finger with the staple. And let's see what today's skein looks like. Ooh, so that one's very pretty. It's like a lighter version of, was it Sunny Days? I think it was 2 days ago. The one that I thought was going to be yellows and oranges, but ended up looking more like a flower bed. This one looks like a lighter version of that. So I definitely think these two skeins will look really great next to each other, but obviously yesterday's skein was hot air balloon, and that doesn't look like it'll look great next to this. So I still don't think I'll be able to put these skeins in a project in the order that I'm opening them in, but I am seeing a little bit of continuity, I guess. Skeins that I could place next to each other to kind of make it flow. So yeah, I like this one. So that does it for that. Let me jump over to knitting, and then we'll do a little bit of chatter before I sign off for the day. So my goal for today was to get the first clue in my Christmastide Cowl done, and at least half of the second clue done, because that was released yesterday. And so this is what I have so far. Let me just open it up a little bit so you can see. So we have, this is section 1, and I forgot to tell you about what the sections represented. So this section is supposed to represent Mr. Beaver's dam from the passage in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis, where Mr. Beaver is housing the children, and they start to see signs that the season is changing. And so the stitch pattern is supposed to represent Mr. Beaver's dam. And then the new section is the Christmas tree. And so you can see there that it looks like Christmas trees. I've done 2 repeats of the pattern, so I've got 1 repeat to go. So I did get my goal of doing at least half of that clue. This section is based on a scene in a Laura Ingalls Wilder book. I'm not familiar with it. I only read The Little House in the Big Wood, and I read it a very, very, very long time ago. And it wasn't something that I enjoyed, so yeah, so I've got 1 more repeat of that, and then I will be up to date. So I should be able to get that done tomorrow. But all of these sections are supposed to be based on scenes, festive scenes in books. So that's really interesting. And each section will also be a different color. So I really didn't know what I wanted to do with the colors that I chose. I had originally put it into a gradient, but being that this was going to be a cowl, I didn't want the white or the lightest colors, and it would have been white because this is white. It's actually called Snow White, I believe. I didn't want the white next to my face because, of course, that's going to get the dirtiest, especially with my full face of makeup. So I decided that once I had found out this was Mr. Beaver's dam, that I was going to use blue. Because when I think of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I think of blue because the cover of the version that I've seen the most, the novel, is blue. While this is not the same color of blue, it is blue. So since I had this, I wanted to use it. And then, so this is going to be the bottom of the cowl. And then on the top of the cowl, I'm going to have my darkest gray. So I think what I'm just going to do is let the stitch patterns and the themes for the day guide me as to which colors I'm going to use, and just let it flow the way it flows. Obviously no color will be repeated, so I will have to choose a different color based on what I have left, but that's my plan for this so far. I would have been able to finish this section today, but as you have seen, I've had a bit of a fiasco with the uploading of my first Vlogmas video. That video ended up taking 15 hours to render. So it took about 5 hours for me to edit. It took me 15 hours to render it. It took me 1.5 hours per channel to upload it. It has been quite a day. I did also make sure that I backed up the video file somewhere else, because in case anything happened with the upload to YouTube, I didn't want to be without the video after all of that work. So everything seems to be okay. I know that the reason it took so long is because of the file format I am rendering it into, but I really don't want to invest in another software or in any software at this time, because the computer that I use to create these videos is very old, and I don't want to buy something and then my computer die. I am trying a different editing software at the moment. Hopefully it'll render things a lot faster. The file format that it allows me to render to seems to be a lot faster. I did test it on the November manga haul that I was able to do today. The program is a little bit more fiddly than what I'm used to, but everything seems to be working okay. The output quality isn't as high though, so I'm not sure if any of you are going to be able to see a difference, but yeah, I'm working on it. It's been quite a day with computer stuff, and then I'm going into quite a day with more computer stuff as I go back to the office. So, well, I'm not going back to the office. I'm still working from home, thankfully. So I just gotta get to my desk in the morning, and hopefully everything turns on okay and things will go smoothly tomorrow or today. So anyway, that's pretty much all I've got to share with you for right now. I hope you are all having a great start to your week, and I will catch you again tomorrow. Bye. Hello everyone, it is December 8th and this is my skein for the day. This one will go rather well with the one that I opened yesterday as well. So this one is called Sky Wishes. That's not one that I'm familiar with either, but this one is lovely. It's still got a pink base, but there's a lot more purple in it. And there's some bronze and oranges, deeper greens, which I love. So yeah, that's my skein for the day. So yesterday I went back to work after being on vacation for 2 weeks, and it was just as bad as I thought it was going to be. The morning started off with a lot of computer problems. Our program that we use to do our work for the business had issues because they had apparently applied an update over the weekend and something went wrong. So they had to do a mid-morning update to correct the issues, and so we were down for like half an hour or so. But prior to that, I was having other issues. So yeah, the day didn't get off to a great start, but I did make lots of progress through all of the emails that I had. I had 600 emails pile up in my inbox while I was on vacation. So I got that down to 100, but unfortunately, those 100 emails I all need to do something on. So I still got quite a bit of catching up to do, but yeah, back into the working day life, something. Not too happy about it, but you know, gotta pay the bills. So anyway, other than that, today we finished off our rewatch of Run with the Wind on Crunchyroll. That is a anime about a college track team. Really enjoyed it, especially because the composer for that anime is the same composer that does the music for Haikyuu, and as you know, I enjoy Haikyuu quite a bit. My family enjoys Haikyuu quite a bit. And so yeah, and if you've watched my November manga haul, you will see that I have also added the anime Run with the Wind to my collection. I also have Haikyuu seasons 1, 2, and 3, just so you know. But yeah, that's pretty much all I did today was work and watch the anime. I did do a little bit of knitting, but let me get into the 25 days of manga first after I put this box away. So yesterday for 25 days of manga, I did end up reading the 3rd volume of the Elder Sister-like one. I am on the fence about continuing this series. I was hoping that I wouldn't be. But up until the last, I would say, quarter, I was pretty much on the side of I'm not going to continue this series. However, the last quarter of this volume introduced another character who seems to be a villain character, but we're not really clear about it, and it's also someone that our demon character here on this cover seems to know. And they don't seem to have a great relationship with each other, so it's kind of made me curious about that. And I'm wondering if this is just a slow to get into story. From what I can tell on Goodreads, the 4th volume did come out in September. I haven't put together my December planned purchases list yet. Not sure how long that one's going to be, but I try not to go over my 1-page rule. So we'll see how long my list is for the month of December before I decide whether or not I'm going to purchase the 4th volume. But I am more curious than I was yesterday about further volumes in this series. So I guess that's good and that's bad in a way, because I'm still kind of lukewarm on the entire story. I do have questions about a couple things, but pretty much this story hasn't really moved anywhere until the last quarter of this volume. So yeah. Anyway, this is the last of the elder sister-like one that I have. So I'm going to switch series. So I am going to pick up M, the Great Priest Imhotep, Volume 1 by Makoto Morishita. This one follows Imhotep, and I believe, let me check real fast. He transverses time on the hunt for the Magi, devious beings with an appetite for destruction who impersonate the gods. So I was very interested in this one because I do enjoy Egyptian mythology, and so I am looking forward to seeing some of that. But it does say he transverses time, so this does happen in modern day, so I presume it's going to take him a little bit to get used to the modern times, so maybe there'll be some comedy in it. But yeah, this one is much longer, so not sure how much I'll be able to get through before I tuck into bed. But that is my plan to read this evening or this morning. You might be able to hear that the wind is picking up. I do not enjoy when the wind picks up. It just makes me uneasy and I tend not to sleep well. But yeah, you may notice that I am using a crocheted afghan for my backdrop today. This afghan my mother crocheted for me this year, and it is my favorite colors. I believe this afghan pattern is called the Blanket of Roses afghan. I had made one for a co-worker when she was expecting her baby several years ago. I made it in, classic girly colors: cream, peach, rose. If you're interested, you can find it on my Ravelry page. But I really enjoyed that pattern and just never got around to making myself one. And I had actually crocheted one of these squares because I knew these were the colors I wanted to go with, and I didn't know in which order I wanted. So I didn't know if I wanted the darker turquoise in this area and the lighter turquoise out here with a lighter rose and the black inside, or if I wanted it like this. Ultimately, I ended up wanting it like this. But I've kind of been bugging my mom for the last however many decades to make me a blanket, because she did make my younger sister one when we were very young, and she never made me one. So I was like, can you make this for me? Can you make this for me? And she finally did. So that is what my background is for this morning. Anyway, I have a little bit of knitting to show you, and so let me get that out. So I worked on my Christmastide cowl because the next piece of the pattern came out today. I did already look at the video for the spoiler and the explanation of the inspiration for the stitch, but I am caught up right now, so this is what I have so far. Let me try to stretch it out a little bit. So I have the Christmas trees, which are inspired by a passage in Laura Ingalls Wilder book. And then I have Mr. Beaver's Dam, which is inspired by a scene in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So the next section is inspired by Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. So it's inspired by the scene where Scrooge wakes up after visiting with all of the spirits. He wakes up on Christmas Day and is a changed man. So yeah, this next stitch pattern is very pretty. I have already decided what color I am going to do that one in. So let me pull it out. I think it's rather appropriate because the stitch pattern, I believe, is called Icy Windows or something like that. So I'm going to use this color. I did already put all of the colors that I had planned to use in like a gradient, but that idea kind of went out the window once we started to get the inspiration. So like I said, I decided to go with the blue for Mr. Beaver's Dam because when I think of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I think blue. Because in my mind, that's the color of the cover of the book when I think about it. And so I had decided to go with this color. And then for the Christmas trees, I decided to go with this white because this this color is called Snow White, and I just enjoy flocked Christmas trees. We've never had flocked Christmas trees, but I always really loved seeing the white flocked Christmas trees, and so I decided to go ahead and go with the white for that section. And then since it's Icy Windows for the next section, I'm going to go with this color. So I will hopefully start that today, and yeah, I don't have anything else really planned for the day besides work. I may start my chapter by chapter for the Book One Cozy's Club pick, which was Christmas Cowbells, the first book in the Buttermilk Creek Mystery Series by Molly Cox Bryan, I think. We'll see about that. My daughter does have a class, so I will have a little extra time after work to work on that. But yeah, we'll just play it by ear. So that's all I've got to share with you today, and I will check back in with you tomorrow. Bye. Hi everyone, it is December 9th, and I'm just going to do a quick check-in for the day. Going back to work after a 2-week vacation is kicking my butt, and I am super tired this morning. But I thought I'd start off with knitting this time. So let me show you what I worked on today, or yesterday. So that's this section right here. This is the third section to my Christmastide Cowl, and this section is called Icy Windows, and it is inspired by a scene from Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol. So I have gotten some pretty good progress. I only have 2 more repeats of the stitch pattern before I am done with today's section, so I'll get that done, or yesterday's section, so I'll get that done today. See, filming after midnight is messing with my brain because to me it's still yesterday, but it isn't. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, so hopefully that won't take me too long today, and I can actually get some stitches in on another project. But I'm very happy that I have been able to keep up so far. This is much better progress than I was able to do last year with the Yuletide socks. So hoping to keep up the momentum with this project. And yeah, let's move into my yarn advent calendar. Ooh, that one is very nice. And again, it does definitely tie in with yesterday's skein, especially in this area right here. But these colors up here are definitely more me, more of those minty, minty green tones. And yeah, so the inspiration for this one is called The Magic of Christmas. So yeah, I am quite surprised that the last few days have seemed to kind of be a gradient, kind of from darkest to lightest, which is different because the skeins prior to the last few haven't really matched each other at all, but I'm pleasantly surprised with this outcome. So yeah, looking forward to tomorrow's, because tomorrow's theme is Nothing Says Christmas Like a New Pair of Socks. So the last skein that had socks as a theme was the third day, which was So Many Pairs of Socks, and that one was like super bright. So definitely looking forward to tomorrow's skein, but very, very happy with today's skein. So let's get into 25 days of manga, and then we will wrap up. So I read Great Priest Imhotep Volume 1 for 25 days of manga yesterday, and it was very interesting. As you can see, Imhotep here on the cover is quite young, and so the female character in this series is a high school student, and so we're kind of dealing with high school shenanigans, as well as a little bit of bullying, because our female character is affected by one of the Magi that Imhotep is trying to take care of, or annihilate, I guess. He also kind of worms his way into her house, so he acts like he has the same kind of social standing as he did in ancient Egypt, where he could just take whatever he wanted. So he basically takes her home. He moves in without her permission, but her dad is really into like Egypt, so he recognizes Imhotep right away, and he kind of fanboys around him, which is super hilarious. So like when Imhotep says that he's going to make their house his, her father is like, oh yes, please, and he like becomes Imhotep's servant, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, I wasn't surprised about the little comedic aspects, but I'm very interested in this story. At the end of this volume, we are introduced to yet another character. We're actually introduced to two characters throughout this book. other than Imhotep and our main female character, who I can't even remember her name off the bat right now. Hinome. Her name is Hinome. So we also meet a child of Anubis, kind of like towards the middle of the volume, and then at the end we meet another character. So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen in the next volume, and so I will be reading that one as my next volume for 25 days of manga. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the art style. The comedy is not too over the top for me, and so I am really enjoying this so far and looking forward to getting more into this series. I'm also very surprised that I've been able to keep up so far with a manga a day, but I think that's going to go by the wayside here in a little bit, because I do need to get into my Book One Cozies Club selection for the month. So I will be having to play a little bit of catch up with my manga volumes, probably on the weekends. But yeah, I need to get a move on that rather quickly, so maybe I'll start that tomorrow. I think I usually will pick up the Book One Cozies Club selection around the 10th of the month, so that would actually be perfect because tomorrow is the 10th. So yeah, that's pretty much all that happened yesterday, besides the fact that I had to work. Today I have to call my internet service provider and complain to them. And hopefully that won't take too long, but I've kind of had an ongoing battle with them for the last 4 months, I think. Yeah, it's been not great since my original modem kicked the bucket and I got this new one. There's just been problem after problem after problem, and so now I've got to call them and complain. So I'm not too happy about that, and definitely not looking forward to it. But it's got to get done, because especially now that I'm working from home, I can't have issues with my internet. So yeah, hopefully today is going to not be as bad as I think it's going to be. But I will check in with you tomorrow, and I hope that your day goes much better than mine. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Well, that's very autumnal. This one is called Nothing Says Christmas Like a New Pair of Socks. And to me, this skein doesn't remind me of Christmas at all. The first thing I thought of when I pulled it out of the bag was, oh, pumpkin! It is nice, though. It's kind of a more muted version of Day 3, which was So Many Pairs of Socks. Because that one was more highlighter yellow and highlighter orange and highlighter green. So yeah, I like this, even though this does not remind me of Christmas at all. So welcome to day 10. It is December 10th. Last night I didn't do much reading. I had mentioned in my clip that I was just really tired, and so let me put this away and I will show you where I got to last night for 25 days of manga. So I did start reading M. Great Priest Imhotep Volume 2, and I only got that much in. I was enjoying what I was reading, but I was just so tired. And so I am going to try to get this one done before I knock out for the day. But no promises. Today was a very difficult one for me. It was very stressful. I just wasn't feeling good all day. The whole thing with the internet was a fiasco. And I still don't think it's fixed. But at this point, I'm upset. I'm stressed out because of my job. And I can't. The whole thing with the internet took a really large chunk of my day today. And that compounded with, coming back to work after vacation, it was just bad all the way around. So I've been trying my best to relax after I finished my workday, but it's not working out so well. I did get a little bit of time in playing Animal Crossing, which does make me happy, but I usually get to play some on my lunch break, and today I didn't even get a lunch break. So, yeah, not the best day. And when I say today, I mean yesterday, because it is the 10th, but it's 1:57 in the morning. So, for me, it's still like the same day, because I haven't gone to sleep yet. But, yeah, yesterday was bad. Hopefully, today is better. It is my kind of Friday, but I have a ton of things that needs to get done today. Before the end of the workday. So I anticipate another stressful day, but I'm looking forward to unwinding a little bit after that. So anyway, I am striving to complete this one sometime today. And then let me show you the little bit of knitting that I did. So I did finish my Christmastide Cowl section 3. So this is the icy windows section. I am very happy with the way this is looking as far as the colors go, but now I think I'm just going to stick with the gradient kind of that I put together in the beginning when I chose these yarns. But do every other one and then go back and do the rest of them. So the pattern section for section 4 was released already. I have already watched the video and I already know what the theme is for the next stitch pattern. It is based on the scene in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, where Harry is opening Christmas presents with Ron and he receives the invisibility cloak. So I'm really excited to get stitching on that. Hopefully you'll be able to see some of that in tomorrow's clip. And before I let you go, I do have one acquisition to share with you that came in today. And that was a little gift to myself, which is this. This is my new set of knitting needles. These are Knitter's Pride Royale needles. So you can see they have metal tips, but they have wooden bodies. And I do really enjoy a wooden needle, but I don't enjoy full wooden needles. I do feel a bit like I'm knitting with toothpicks, if that makes sense. Especially because I do tend to push off of the tip a lot. And so It kind of feels like I'm being stabbed with a toothpick. But I had seen these, and I really, really enjoy the taper on the tip. And I find that that helps a lot too when trying to pick up stitches or do lace work or whatnot. So I decided to treat myself to this set. It was at a very good price. I've been looking at this set for a while, and I had noticed that it was on sale. So I decided to treat myself, and I'm really excited to use these. The colors are very nice, and so yeah, those are my new knitting needles. I do think that I have 4 sets. I think this is my 4th set. I have a Knit Picks Caspian wood set. I have I believe it's a Knitter's Pride plastic needle set. I have a Knitter's Pride Melodies of Life metal needle set. And then I have these Knitter's Pride set. I do really like Knitter's Pride needles. I have not been disappointed with any of the ones that I've used from them. And I really like their cords. Their cords are nice and flexible. And I'm able to do magic loop on them if I want to. But yeah, very excited to try these out. And that's pretty much all I've got to share with you today. So here's hoping today is not as stressful as I think it's going to be. And I will check in with you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye. So this skein definitely looks like what I thought it would look like. At least the colors are pinks. This one is based on the theme Hugs, which is something I could have definitely used today. So yeah, that is my skein for the day. It is December 11th. And yeah, yesterday was, I want to say, harder than the day before. My stress level is through the roof. I'm having a very hard time winding down, and I'm just exhausted mentally. So yeah, I definitely could have used a hug yesterday, but I am very happy with this skein. So let's move on to some acquisitions after I put this away. So my friend Raul over at Latin Lector, he has just recently started getting back into making videos, but he had made a video about the books that he DNF'd this year, and this was one of those books that he had talked about. Now, Tess Gerritsen is an author that I've been meaning to read from for a while. I have been collecting the Rizzolian Isles books. I really enjoyed that TV show, and so I really want to read those books, but I haven't dug into them yet. And Raul was talking about this book on his channel, and it, I believe, is about a violinist who stumbles upon a piece of music, and she notices that when she plays this particular piece, it affects her daughter, and not in a good way. So I had mentioned to Raul that this book sounded interesting to me, especially because of the musical aspect. I did participate in band from intermediate school through college. I actually got a full scholarship, a full music scholarship. So music has always been a big part of my life. And I did participate in orchestra as well in high school. So I think this book is going to be interesting for me. I think it's a thriller, but I'm not quite sure. In any case, I am very interested in reading this. And thanks, Raul, for sending it my way. I did send out your book in the mail today, so you should be getting that one shortly. I sent him Assassin's Code by Jonathan Mayberry. It's the 4th book in the Joe Ledger series, I believe. Raul and I buddy read the Rot and Ruin series by Jonathan Mayberry, and we really enjoyed it. And Joe Ledger is like a spin-off series, I believe, so set in the same world. And Raul and I have talked for a while about buddy reading that series as well, but we just never got around to it. So maybe in 2021 we will do that. But yeah, so this was the first book that came in the mail. Again, thanks, Raul, for sending it my way. And then I got In the Still of the Night by David L. Golemon. This is the sequel to The Supernaturals, which I read in September, which I would describe as a crossover between Stephen King's Rose Red and The Haunting. I did do a series first impressions video on that one, so if you're interested, I'll try to remember to link it in the cards here. But I knew that there was a sequel to that book, and so I was very interested in trying to find a copy to read it. My library did not have it. Barnes & Noble only had a digital copy, and because I have a physical copy of The Supernaturals, I wanted a physical copy of the sequel. Now, I thought the sequel would follow the case that's kind of left off at the end of The Supernaturals, but in reading the inside cover of this book, it does not. So, yeah, not quite the case I was looking for, but the case does sound interesting nonetheless, and so I'm interested to get into this one as well. Probably won't be digging into it until 2021, maybe in January, but yes. This was part of my order of used books from Thrift Books, because I was looking for Mickey's Christmas Carol, and so I filled my cart so that I could get free shipping. This was one of those books. After School Nightmare was the other, and so I got everything else but Mickey's Christmas Carol, which is what I had made the order for. Unfortunately, I had ordered that to do a watch along with my friend Lee over at Lee Mac, and it didn't get here in time. I still don't have it, so hopefully that will come in before Christmas. I think I've seen it before, but I don't remember it. Obviously, I know the story of A Christmas Carol. We watch The Muppets Christmas Carol every year on Christmas Eve. That is my favorite rendition of it. But it will be nice to see Mickey's Christmas Carol again. So anyway, those were the two acquisitions that I got in the mail today. And then moving into 25 Days of Manga, I am still on volume 2 of M. Great Priest Imhotep. I was able to read a little bit last night, so I am a little bit further, but I still haven't finished this book. Like I said, I am exhausted mentally and physically, and I could only muster a few pages yesterday. And so, yeah, I am still really enjoying the story, even though I'm not able to keep my eyes open to read it. But I'm going to try to dig into it a little bit more. Today, I'm not sure how much reading I'm going to be able to get into because I do have a few things that I want to do, like starting my chapter by chapter for Christmas cowbells. I'm not going to show you any knitting today because I just barely got into the next section for my Christmastide cowl, and you can't really see what's going on with the pattern, and so I'll save that one until I either have more or have completed this section. So that will do it for me for this check-in. Like I said, I don't think I'll be doing anything very interesting for the rest of the day. So I hope you're all doing great, and I will check in with you again tomorrow. Bye. Hi everyone, it is December 12th. This is just going to be a quick check-in because yesterday I did not do much. So I did start my chapter by chapter for the December Book One Cozies Club pick, which is Christmas Cowbells, the first book in the Buttermilk Creek Mystery Series by Molly Cox Bryan. I left the book out by my desk, so that's why you don't see it here. So I did that. I did not finish the Great Priest Imhotep manga. In fact, I only read a couple pages last night. As I mentioned, I was very tired, so I'm still about there. I am very behind now, so maybe I'll be able to catch up this weekend, but I do have plans to continue my chapter by chapter project. I do pre-record those episodes because there's no way I'd be able to get them up daily if I was recording and then uploading on the same day. It's the same reason why I'm doing Vlogmas the way that I am. So, yeah, I want to get a bit further in my chapter by chapter today. But back to yesterday, I spent a good amount of time playing some Luigi's Mansion with my daughter on the Switch. We are enjoying that one a lot. I don't get to play a lot of games with my daughter because our tastes in gameplay differ quite a lot. So she likes the type of, battle games and things like Persona and Fire Emblem. She's playing Genshin Impact right now. But, yeah, we play Animal Crossing together sometimes. More often than not, though, I play by myself. And then we've started to play Luigi's Mansion. And I really enjoy it. I do like the types of games where you have to search for things or forage for things. And so it checks all of my boxes for entertainment. Other than that, we watched the most recent episode of Haikyuu tonight. It was the second to the last episode of the season, I believe, and it finished the Inarizaki game. You will remember that I read the manga volume that had that game conclude in it earlier this month for 25 days of manga. So yeah, it was really, really exciting. I really, really enjoy it, and I'm going to be very sad when the season ends next week. What else? We watched an episode of SWAT, the most recent episode of SWAT, while we ate dinner, which was leftovers. So yeah, that pretty much summed up my day today. I got to text a little bit with my friend back in Hawaii, but of course she texted me super early this morning. You'd think after all of the years that she's known me, she would know that I am not a morning person. But yeah, she's always either texted me or called pretty early in the morning. And she's a school teacher, so she's up pretty early in the morning anyway. So even though when she texts, I'm usually half asleep, I do enjoy talking to her. And yeah, so I guess all that's left to do is to open my yarn advent calendar. So let's get to that. And then I'll finish off this clip for today. There is a business card in here, so this is where I got my yarn advent calendar from. And then this is the skein of yarn, so that is very purple. I don't know, for some reason I thought it was going to be pink. But yeah, it's purple. Purple is not my favorite color, but this actually kind of reminds me of grapes a little bit. It is very nice though, and I am glad to have this as part of my new stash. So yeah, that is my skein for the day. I don't have plans for today other than working on chapter by chapter, maybe getting a little bit of manga read, though my mom is off of work today, so when she's off from work I do like to spend a little bit of time with her. But we'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. So I hope you're all doing great, and I will check in with you again tomorrow. Bye.